Okay, we're back for round two because the computer died earlier. So welcome to the Swolemates update. And before I forget, please like and subscribe to my channel.
It's helpful.
Yes. And, ding the bell.
Yeah.
That way you get updates when we have new videos. But anyway, so it is the day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas.
We're going to summarize really quick what we were blabbing about before.
Yeah, before the computer died. So now we're just
didn't do
starting all
progress
over
pictures
again.
yesterday. We're going to update those soon. So they will probably be on this post anyway, because it usually takes a couple of weeks. But our topic for today is going to be about setting goals. Realistic goals. What is realistic?
But what about our update
for you?
So we said.
So our update.
How much do you weigh?
Oh, I don't know. You went first. How much do you weigh?
You never said how much you weighed.
I did not. What do you weigh?
I weigh 207 pounds.
And that is
down from last week by about a pound, but that's what we were talking about, fluctuations.
But you had gone up 4,
and
then you went up 4 again, and then you came down 1.
Down 1, yeah.
So you're gonna like level out. And I was talking about how I never feel like I make progress, but my weight goes up and down so much, like every day. Even it's a couple of pounds up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's like I have to look at like Saturday to Saturday to really know if I made progress. So day after Christmas, what was a week ago?
A week ago.
The 19th. Yeah, so I'm actually 3.4 pounds down. But I mean, I was up. Like I was up and down the whole time. It's so weird, y'all. So you can't pay attention that much. I mean, you want to be making progress in the right direction,
She
obviously.
does a lot.
I'm up and down, yes. And I think as a female, you're going to see that. So just keep that in mind, and don't let the scale freak you out and think that. So what happens is, like I've seen this a lot, is if the scale does not do what you want it to do, you throw it all out the window.
Yep,
well, screw it. I quit. What I'm doing is not working.
Don't quit.
Right. Well, you haven't given it long enough, for one thing. And you probably haven't been tracking accurately or consistently for long enough. So
you got people that tell you about like that you're you can see their stuff on MyFitnessPal, and it's like I ate a piece of toast and an egg, and that's all that's logged all day, That's not consistent.
Well, and so you're not logging, you're not being honest, you're not tracking everything. You have to track it. You have to track it. If you're gonna track,
you have to be honest with everybody,
right?
Including yourself.
If you want results, you have to track it accurately for a period of time. Like if I've got a client who is telling me already after 2 weeks, I'm going to need my carbs to come down. No, you really don't need your carbs to come down. You need to actually log what you're eating, because you're probably eating 100 more carbs than I told you to eat. So you don't adjust things in your mind when you don't even know what you need to adjust, and you don't know if you're not tracking accurately.
And so we were going to talk about goals.
And so we're talking about goals because
it all comes into it.
This all I was talking when we were walking earlier about a client who said, and the reason we brought this up today is because everybody at the end of the holiday season, that's when they want to set all of their goals, right? Guys have got to have the goals.
First of the year,
New Year's
resolutionaries. Here they come.
And honestly, I don't understand. Like, it's a great time to evaluate, I think, long-term goals. But we were talking about this, and I think that people set their goals unrealistic, for one thing, too short of time, not the appropriate amount of time, and give up. This is why like people start the gym and then they quit because they're not seeing what they want to in a fast enough time. But so when you're setting your goals, you have to say, be honest, like, is it gonna work for you? And we were talking about genetic potential.
Well, we said, what did we say? Yeah, because with the genetic potential, when we talk about this client back in the day who said she wanted to weigh 125 pounds.
Yes.
And it was like, when did you ever weigh 125 pounds? You know,
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's how
So
I'm saying.
I said, what is your goal? And she said 125 pounds. And I said, what made you choose this goal? When were you last this weight? I've never been that weight.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, well, why would you pick that weight then?
Why would you pick? You're setting yourself up for failure if you can't pick something that's realistic right out of the gate. You know.
And you have to look at short term and long term. So something could be unrealistic short term, meaning you can't hit it in under a month, but it could be realistic for long term. But you have to look at your genetic potential also. If you have never been a weight, that's obviously not going to be an ideal goal. It's not good. You're setting yourself up for failure and just to be disappointed.
She said a good one was, like the last time you were that like a size 0 was when you were in middle school. Oh yeah, you're not going to hit that. That's probably
I've never been a 0. I don't ever remember, and I was.
And don't be ashamed to say I'm never going to be that size again. Like
when I started high school, y'all, in 8th grade, I weighed 60 pounds, but I'm pretty sure that I was still in kids' clothes. I don't ever remember being in a, junior size 0 or women's size 0 ever. So I got my tonsils out, my adenoids out, hit puberty, gained like 40 pounds in a year. I just went from kids' clothes to whatever size, So I was never there. There's no way on earth I myself would never want to be that size. I would be deaf. I would really be deaf.
I weighed my senior year of high school, I weighed like 170 pounds. Something like that. 170, 175 pounds, and now get down to competition right before when we figure that that's a whole other thing. But I weighed 185 pounds, down there at lean. So, I mean,
and you were not though, but you were not that lean in high school probably, but you didn't have that much muscle.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure. So, then I said genetic potential. What is genetic potential? Because I know what I looked like growing up, and I know what I would be if I didn't work really, really hard lifting all the time. Not all the time, but consistent. 5 days a week. All the time. I live in the gym, y'all. I really don't. I do. You live in the gym. So I know what I would be. I would be fat. I would be skinny fat because I was really stringy growing up. Didn't have any muscle. My muscle that I got in high school was from jumping. Basketball, volleyball, jump. So I had good legs. I had a good butt in high school, but I had no muscle. So that's my genetic potential.
So your genetic potential, like what we were saying when we were out walking this morning, was like, if you're 5'1" and you weigh 200 pounds and you say your goal is to look like a runway model, that's your genetic potential is never going to get you.
Yeah, you can't be taller than you are, and models are generally 5'10"
in bodybuilding. Like the way that your body is set up. Like I have a very narrow clavicle, so I'm never, no matter what I do, ever gonna have an amazing, like super V taper with a really narrow waist and just way out at the top.
Have a really low waist.
Right, but I don't look like I have that waist because my shoulders aren't pushed out so far because I don't have that really long, clavicle. It's
Well, I don't know what my clavicle is, but I know I genetically
but
have
that's
really
just
big
genetic,
traps.
that's genetic stuff. So you have to look at what you're genetically capable of, and that comes into your long-term goal stuff. Like if your long-term goal is this, at some point you're going to reach, or you're going to recognize where your genetic limitations are. People say all the time, I can't genetically grow calves, and that's a totally different thing. And that's because you're probably not working on, and a lot of it's going to come down to, are you actually at your genetic potential for something, or are you just not working?
It's often a reason that something, it's a reason that people will use to not work.
Yeah.
Is I don't have the genetic potential to do it. Well, if you have put in years and years of proper training, proper nutrition, I'm talking probably a decade, and you're still not getting it, then okay, I might agree with you. But most of the time, people don't even give it a few months, much less years, to get to where they want to be. So I think the first thing should probably be, when you set a goal, if you're going to ask yourself, why do you want to hit that goal?
Yeah. What is
what's the importance?
Your drive for that.
If you don't know your why, your goal is just going to go out the window. Your why has to be what drives you. And your genetic potential should not be an excuse.
No.
Because now, granted, like he said, there are some things that genetically you may not be able to do. So when you set your goal, short-term, long-term, ask yourself why. Your why has to keep you going. Like I ask myself why a lot, but it's not, it's like more of why am I still doing this? I do not know.
That's just
people say all the time to me, I wish I had your dedication, your motivation. I don't have it. I don't know what my why is, to be better than I was. And that actually drives me, because I don't want to go the other way. I want to be better in a year, 2 years, 5 years than I am right now. But it's going to take me that long to probably see it. If I quit in 2 weeks or a month because I didn't see the progress, you're gonna go the other way.
I'll tell you how you're not going to reach your goals: by quitting. That's 100% fact. That
you're 100% guaranteed to not hit your goals if you stop working towards them.
What we were saying was, you have to set a realistic goal, so that like that 5'1" person that's 200 pounds. Let's say they wanted to be, a competitive bodybuilder. I want to be a Mr. Olympia. Again, do you have the genetic potential for that? But at 5'1" and 200 pounds and a lot of work, hey, maybe bodybuilding isn't your thing, but maybe powerlifting is your thing. You could do that. So it's like, don't be afraid as you're in your goal and you advance into your goals, to maybe modify some of your goals and still work towards something that's
you can
amazing.
Still work hard and maybe change your path a little bit, but what you don't want to do is stop.
Yeah,
you can redirect things. Like, let's say this 5'1" person started, and let's say they were really consistent in their training and their nutrition and their lifting for 5 years, and they did not see what you should see. I still think you could probably do bodybuilding, even if you're shorter.
I mean the short and the over.
Well, genetic potential, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
That
if you find out after years of work that that's not your thing, maybe you're transitioning into powerlifting. And then you're still doing the work, but your end goal changes a little bit. So don't be afraid to modify things, slightly change your goals, it doesn't have to be set in stone. If it's set in stone, you're more likely to stop too. I think if you, especially like weight wise,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're not getting there, you have to, I think you really have to love the process. Love the process. And if you love the process, it will get you to your goal. Versus like is if you just focus on the goal, then you're going to get frustrated with the process. You're not going to want to do the stuff you have to do every day. You have to love the process to get to the goal.
Yeah.
That
So
all
what
you
else?
got?
I don't know. My blood sugar was low, so now I'm like
Now he's
sitting
on.
here.
So now I'm going to
spaced
say, I'll
out.
just take over here.
Just
Okay.
talking. My blood sugar was low. It should be coming back up. I ate a cookie, but yeah. So just with your realistic goals and your work to achieve them, you know, keep that in mind.
What you do should be fun anyway.
And that
You know,
too.
like
But
I question myself all the time. I question my genetic potential. I started in figure, y'all know this. I started in figure like 21 years ago. I thought I was good. I really wasn't that good. I kept doing it anyway, just because I wanted to be better. I mean, I did get better. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my stage presence, I'm sure, improved a whole lot. There was a gap in there where, you know, I was just being mom more than anything, but I was still working on those goals. So then I was kind of like, not really thinking that I'm a figure shape. And that's probably like a genetic potential. Switched to women's physique, felt a whole lot better to me, but still, genetically speaking, let's go back to I was the stringy kid. It's very, very hard for me to put on size. Hard, super, 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 super hard. I can't tell you. I mean, I have done everything there ever was as far as lifting style programs, you know, calories. I don't want to get super over fat to gain, but I know I have to like put on more fat to gain. But my point is, it's really hard for me to gain muscle. So women's physique has more muscle even than figure. So now I have come full circle and I'm like, well, maybe I'll go back and do figure again, you know, because I can only go so far with adding the muscle.
So
that
she's, you know, yes, changing your goal, but she's not quitting. Like when I started this,
I'm like, well, different organization, different this, different that.
By running, because I had to fill a gap from when I quit drinking and I sobered up. So I was a runner.
And you quit other stuff too. Right?
And just tobacco.
Yeah, well, that's a big deal.
So I just was filling the gap. So that was my goal. And then I started going to the gym. And then my goal was just to kind of like, well, I wanted to get bigger or lift or whatever. And then when we started dating, it was like my goal was to get into competitive bodybuilding. And, you know, so now my goal is that just to keep getting better. And it's like after every show, I have a whole new set of goals. And, you know, and I'm always excited to go work on them. So that's how my goals have evolved. You know, I went from running a lot and to you know, to running and lifting, and you know, I did some Spartan races in there, and then it just switched into something different and something different and something different. And here we are. So that's how your goals can change.
They should.
They should change.
You're going to change.
You're going to modify
time.
them. Yeah, because
you
you're not
will
going to be the same
evolve.
person. But
I shouldn't want what I want. Y'all, I'm 50 now. If 50 you didn't know.
This right here. This is goals. She's 50.
But
you
my goals
want to look like that when you're 50.
My goals when I'm 50 are definitely not the same goals as what I had when I was 30. Even though I was 30, The first time, no, I was 29. The first time I think I competed. My goal, I mean, everything has changed. Decades is a long time, and you're not going to be the same person. You're not going to have the same goals. My goals are more longevity than just getting on the stage at this point. I mean, I want to be better, but I can be better even if the stage were to never happen again. The stage, though, you got pictures on the stage, and those are very good comparisons for me to know, like, if I have gained muscle. And that's been my goal for years and years and years, is to get bigger. And everybody's, especially girls, I don't want to get big. Well, I want to get big. I'm trying to get big and I can't get big. And I mean,
look, Arnold said it a long time ago when somebody said, I want to lift, but I don't want to look like you. And he said, don't worry, you never will. If your goal is not to get big by getting into, like, you can go to the gym and not get big like a competitive bodybuilder. I mean, if you're a woman and you're going to the gym and you don't want to look like a bodybuilder, you're not gonna.
It's probably not going to happen. Like, honestly, y'all, the people that have had comment on, body parts for me, I love your arms. Your arms are goals. Your back is goals. I mean, I try to get big. Try so hard.
Yeah.
But women don't generally have the testosterone to be big like they're worried about being. Yeah. It's not happening. And unless you take drugs that are going to, put those hormones into your body at that level to get huge, you're not gonna. And most of the time, the hugeness is you probably have fat to lose. And so you start lifting and then you feel like you look big. But that's when the magic is actually happening. The magic happens when you build muscle.
Most people quit,
right? And the
scale doesn't show anything because you're losing fat and building muscle.
But when you get that lean muscle, that is when it's going to help you burn the fat. It increases your metabolism, and it's doing so many amazing things. But then people don't give it a chance to work. You can't lose 20 pounds in a month. I mean, I'm sorry, you probably can. And reality TV and blah, blah, blah has you believing that you can, but you cannot, you're going to lose muscle.
Most people are not going to lose. If you have a lot to lose, you could probably lose 20 pounds in a month.
Yeah. But
an average person, the dad bod guy,
you got to give it a chance.
You got 30 or 40 pounds overweight, he's not going to lose 20 pounds in a month.
Don't get frustrated that's what I'm saying. Focus on the process. Don't focus on the end result and thinking that it's so far away. That's when you quit.
Yeah.
I've been doing this, y'all. Like I said, I'm 50. I'm 50. I'm just still.
You still get used to that number.
I don't like it when I have to enter it in on the machine, that you put in your age. I'm like.
On an exercise.
Yeah, like a cardio equipment as you. I'm like, beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, I was in the 4s and now I'm at 5. And I'm like, but I'm telling y'all, you've got to give it a chance. You got to
just keep working at them.
Love the process.
You'll get there.
Be stubborn. I'm stubborn. That's the only reason I have gotten, well, I'm going to say gotten this far. I don't know how far I've actually gotten, but it's the only reason I've been doing this as long as I have is because I am bound and determined to make some kind of progress. That's why I'm stupid and continue to go to school. Even like I have been, y'all, in college forever.
So ever. Your goal is to get a PhD.
So now my goal is like, and I said, if I finish this will be no more. But then you're always doing continuing education for certifications or something. But I am what is the word they call it? I'm a college,
academic. She's an academia person.
Just like I have done this for so long. I have spent decades, I think, of my life learning and teaching. Decades. I'm doing one or the other or both, like at some point or some way. But I'm telling y'all, you have to just give it time and be determined. And see, he's as stubborn as me. That's why I think he got.
I'm more stubborn.
Yeah, well, it's a fire sign thing, I think.
Sign, yep.
So you have to make the decision. Like when you want to set the goal and you set the goal, make the decision like you're committing to it. Don't just kind of flip it around.
And if you make the long-term goal and then set up achievable short-term goals.
The short term is going to lead you to the long term. So like
set up unachievable short-term goals towards an achievable long-term goal. And certainly don't right out of the gate. Be honest with yourself. Set an achievable long-term goal. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, if you can do it, just like people that want to compete.
Achievable short-term goals to reach your achievable long-term goal. Because if you don't set either of those, if you're not honest with yourself and you set either of those two as unachievable, you're going to quit.
Yeah. So set the long. I always say set the long term.
Yourself, or you're going to hurt yourself, or you're going to do something trying to get them, and that's going to lead you to quit. So the end result will be you quitting, and you don't want to do that, right? Yeah.
So make sure it's realistic. If your long-term goal, if you don't have enough time for your long-term goal, I mean, let's just say it's a competition, like you're going to compete in a sport of whatever, like, and it's a physique competition, like bodybuilding or figure physique or whatever. Right. And I know I'm looking at this show and it's 16 weeks out, but I've got 40 pounds of fat to lose. It's going to be really hard to do. So if I'm looking at, I want to have the long-term goal set and then kind of back it up to what I need to do short-term, right? So let's say I have a show that's 16 weeks out, but I've only got 20 pounds of fat to lose. That's realistic, so I can do that, but then I can back it up and say, okay, well, I know I need to lose this amount per week or somewhere around there, right? So I know that I can hit that long-term goal, but I have to do the short-term stuff to get there, but it can't be unrealistic. Like you said, it's got to be, it can't be something that's, everything is possible, y'all, but yes, some things are actually impossible.
Yeah.
Everything's possible with time, but not everything is possible in the time that you want. And that's the main thing with goals, is that you need to want it and you need to commit to it. And it's got to be realistic.
Yeah.
Is that all? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you have comments, feel free to drop them in here. We would love to hear back from you. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. Commenting helps us.
And
y'all know this.
Look, you guys, by the time you see this, it'll be the new year. So good luck on your goals.
Yes. And if you need help, reach out to me. Y'all know this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can contact me. The information will be below. You can comment. I can get back with you. But anyway, happy 2022 and keep striving towards your goals.
Yeah.
Don't give up. See you all next time.